And welcome to season 2 of the Vox Talks, and I'm delighted to introduce to you today a super alumnus who is currently the internal communications manager for Cambridge University. Now, Cordelia is an absolute legend and a superstar, and we're super proud of the way that she's gone on to lead her life, and she's going to have some amazing insights to tell all of you people who are watching today. So, officially, good morning, Cordelia.
Good morning, hello.
It's really good to see you. This is lovely to touch base, and I'm liking the paper chains that I see in the background. It looks like it might be Christmas.
It is indeed. We've got a bit of Christmas in the house, which is good fun over here.
Lovely. And where are you dialing in from today?
I'm dialing in from Ely, which is just north of Cambridge.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a lovely cathedral we've got over in Ely. How long have you been there?
So I've been here for about 4 years now, and I must tell you that this morning we've got some wonderful snow outside, so I can't wait to get out and see the cathedral in the snow.
Oh, that'll be epic. Well, thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And like all of these talks, they're designed for young people who might be interested in careers that might not have music in them or might have music in them, and they're really there to try and encourage mums and dads to realise and empathise with the values that music brings and the sort of soft skills or the benefits, the opportunities that if they just pursue music as long other things, they might be able to be open to their young people. So if you wouldn't mind, would you give us a quick synopsis on how you got to becoming the internal comms manager, your journey to where you are today?
Yeah, so I was in MHO. I joined when I was 14 years old, and so I did it for 4 years until I went off to university. And I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about this later, but it really gave me loads of stuff that really did help me both at uni and even right to this day. So when I went off to uni, I managed to get to Cambridge, which was incredible, and I read history at Homerton College. A fantastic 3 years of my life. I didn't sleep a wink because John and I have just been talking about all the amazing things that you can do there. You pack so much in, and it's worth doing and taking advantage of all that's available. After that, I came back to Derbyshire. I stayed with my mum and dad for a year, and I worked at an auction house. I'm really interested in antiques. It kind of linked a little bit to my degree with history. And then from then, I managed to get a job at the history faculty back in Cambridge because I'd enjoyed my time there so much. It meant I could give a little bit back and be on the other side of the fence, helping the students, which was the place that I used to be. I then moved, I spent about 2 years there. I was a PhD administrator, so I was helping people get funding for their PhDs, helping people when they had a bit of trouble with any of their, any supervisors, any work that they were doing. So we're just there to support them. And then I went on to a place called Student Registry in Cambridge. That's a very nice way of saying it's where all the records are kept. So that's all the student records. And there I help support lots of students who might be experiencing difficulties during their degree. So perhaps they'd had a bereavement or they were having a rough time, and the university is keen to try and support these people because Cambridge is a very high-powered kind of place, and so we want to make sure that people feel they've got the support behind them if anything happens, because life happens, right?
Yeah.
I was there for about a year. I was covering someone on maternity leave, so I was there for about a year, and then I got my job in internal comms, which is where I am now. So I've been there for about two and a half years now, and I absolutely love it. We deal with lots of kind of quite thorny issues. So, for example, there's a big pensions debate with universities at the moment. We cover Brexit. We've had some student occupations because they've not been happy about certain things. So we've had them in the office. And it's been really good fun in getting to know people from all across the institution, both staff and students, and just kind of trying to keep people up to date because it's such a big institution. It's like a massive company, but it's also over 800 years old, and so we can be a little bit clunky. So it's trying to make sure that people know what's happening, and I really, really enjoy it.
That's amazing. It sounds very cool. And to be honest, my experience with Cambridge University is that it's a sensational place to be. The things that they do are just amazing. The quality of the teachers or the professors rather, are absolutely out of this world. I also know that I think one of the benefits from going to a university like Cambridge is the sort of legacy. So when you've gone through Cambridge, there's still a connection, and they'll always welcome you back. And I know that the comms for the university are very good at keeping in touch with their alumni, and they really want to do that. And it's a really important part of the job, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So we have a whole office that's dedicated to that. They're called CUDA, which is Cambridge University Development and Alumni Relations. We do like some quite long names in Cambridge. It's true. And they, yeah, you say they do a fantastic job. It's like being part of a family. That's what I find. And you have the university as a part of a family. And you also have your college, which I'm sure, as like you say, John, with people that you know that have gone to Cambridge, that college connection is amazing. So
I know, and Homerton's the friendliest college of all. You know, I mean, I think there's a reputation around the world that it's just the nicest place to go. Before we carry on, what did you do for your GCSEs and A-levels? Where were you? What school and what did you take?
So I had kind of a bit of a split experience when I was doing my GCSEs. So I started my GCSEs at my local comprehensive school, which is just really near to where I lived. And then my parents were kind of like, we would like to try and send you to a private school, which was quite the experience. So I then moved to Nottingham Girls High School.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of around the time when I started Emijo. So I'd left all my friends at secondary school, and so that felt quite a pull. I thought, oh, and then I was starting at this new school, and Mum and Dad thought it'd be great if I could join Emijo as something that's a bit of an outlet, just play some. I'd always played the piano, I loved it, but I played a lot of classical music, and I just loved all that. I used to love going to HMV, buying all the CDs I could until I had no money. And I used to just play them again and again. And my dad would be saying things like, please, can you stop playing the same record? Because I've heard it 15 times now. Because I just want to hear all the different bits within the music. And so they were keen for me to experience something that was a lot more, not that classical music isn't fun, but just the idea of how in jazz you can try a lot of things. You can be really creative. And they wanted me to have a go. And that was a fantastic transition. So for my GCSEs, I did, we had to do things like English, lit, English language, maths, and then 3 sciences, biology, chemistry, and physics. And then for my choices, I did French and Spanish, and then I did history and geography. And then I went on to do French, history, English lit, English language for my A-levels.
I always were a clever girl. It's ridiculous what you guys could do. I mean, from my point of view, we see music as one of those places where, well, like contemporary music is one of those places where you can take a risk and it's quite safe, but actually, you know, we put things in perspective. It is only just music. It's not super serious. It's meant to be relaxed. So actually, the things that you get out of it are meant to be a bit more than just playing a musical instrument. They're meant to be, you're meant to make friends, lifelong friends. You're meant to learn how to get along with somebody who's sat next to you who you probably don't like. You're meant to learn how to, you know, be in an audience or to watch or something, or to support somebody else. So we think those things are the really important things that come out of music. Have you got any favourite memories, any favourite people that you remember from your time with band?
I certainly have. So when I joined Emijo, I remember you saying to my mum, John, oh, we're going to Bruges in 2 weeks. Do you want to come? And I was like, oh my God. And my mum said this would be a great way for you to meet some friends, because it meant going away for, I think we went away for about a week with a load of people I didn't know. Yeah. And I remember turning up to, I think it was Derby Grammar School. It was about 6 a.m. And so everyone was very, And I met this girl called Naomi Tansey, who I think has done a Vox with you already.
Yes, yes.
And the people will be able to see how absolutely lovely she is. And she was an absolute light on this very dark morning. And her and I we just hit it off. We found we were the same age. And then for the entirety of the coach trip from Derby to the hotel in Bruges, we just talked. And we just got on like a house on fire. And to this very day, we still haven't shut up. And so we've just carried on. I also am in touch with one of your absolute proteges, a guy called Ed Richardson, who is absolutely superb. And he and I have been in touch quite a bit, just very sporadically over the years. Recently, he plays at Ronnie Scott's. He was feeling a little bit down because of lockdown, meaning he couldn't play, because it truly is in his body and soul. Yeah. And we've just been keeping in touch and kind of keeping each other a bit more buoyant. And so Emijo does really, and like I say, music in general has some fantastic opportunities for friendships and relationships all through the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be
I like to think that music's more about the things that you get to learn, the rhythms of getting on with people. And I think it's very cool that you had lots of friends and things. Are there particular bits of advice or credo that you could share which one might be useful to kids today?
Yeah, I think so. Just the idea that it's really important to have a go. And Emijo really taught me that. It's a safe space to be able to have a go. Yeah. So, for example, one time we were at a summer school and I decided that I would really like to have a go at singing, because I used to play the piano in some of the band. And I thought, oh, I'll have a crack at this. And we did Satin Doll, and it's a song where it's not the easiest of songs.
No.
Ella Fitzgerald makes it sound easy, but never mind. And you have to start off before the band, the particular one that we were doing. So I needed to have a little bit of perfect pitch in there as well. And as you can imagine, this didn't necessarily go down very well, but I managed to finish the entire song in a completely different key to the rest of the band. And I felt absolutely mortified. But since then, what I've done is try to build on that and think, right, I know I can sing. I was just hit by nerves and I just hadn't practiced. So I knew what my mistakes were. So I've tried to build on that since then. And my partner is in a soul and funk band. So he and I try and do little recordings together of things like Georgie Fame's 20-beat classics, just trying to build up the confidence and things like that. And I think it is important for kids to know that you have to have a go. You can't always be within. You'll only learn through challenging yourself, really.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. The fact, first of all, that you're still playing and you're still singing. I think that's super cool. We'll have a chat about that in a second. But this ability to, if it goes wrong, what is the worst that can happen? It is just a bit of sounds and things. And it takes a while for me to appreciate how that makes a difference to people's lives and how it made a difference to my own life as well. When you stand up and you're trying to do a talk and then you sound like all the words are jumbled and nothing comes out correctly, and then actually, what does it really matter? It's not something serious. It's not like a car crash on the M1. It's not, we've got to put this in context, and the fact that it gives you that bravery to do it is super impressive, really. So when we playing in a funk band, I mean, one of the questions I got here from Stu was, do you still play, and if so, where do you play? So obviously you still do.
Yeah, so I absolutely love it. So I still play my classical music. I absolutely love after work kind of just having a bit of what we call a noodle on the piano, just kind of picking a key and having a bit of fun. And yeah, my partner and I, it's really nice that we get to share that together. Yeah. And it's a lovely thing to share music. Yeah, I think that's also something Emma Jo taught me, because classical music beforehand, I was doing lots of it just on my own, just piano. And then all of a sudden, kind of going into this band where it's all about gelling and playing together was fantastic. And the idea of working together, teamwork, there's so much to be learned from being in a band, I would say, and something like a jazz band in particular. So I do still play. My partner's, he's in the band itself, so I'm kind of like on the periphery because he'd already arranged this before I kind of came on the scene. And so I go along and support them, but he and I are keen to do like offshoot projects, and they play in pubs and bars all over Cambridge, and it's fantastic.
Oh, I'm so pleased. And this has been really nice touching base. And in fact, just the last thing before we wrap it up for everybody is, if you could go back to yourself when you were a little bit younger and you were at band, is there, or that GCSE A-level time, is there something that you would like to say to yourself, to say, do this, you're really going to enjoy this? What would it be?
I would say exactly that. I would say really enjoy it. I've always, as you can see, been to Cambridge and things like that. I've always been kind of aiming for the stars a little bit. And I think really it's just about relaxing, really enjoy it for what it is. You make some great friendships. You learn things along the way. Like we were saying, have a go, be creative, and just put yourself out there, I would say. Just really, really enjoy it.
That's amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining us for today's Season 2 Vox Talk. And in fact, if anybody would like to contact Cordelia, she is on LinkedIn, and we do advise all of our young students to develop a profile on LinkedIn, because a lot of good things happen there and about connecting and staying in touch. And we have got an alumni group for Hot House and Emma Jo, so if you're interested in being part of that, you can always sign up and drop Cordelia a quick message. Thank you very much, Cordelia. Have a wonderful day, and we'll look forward to hearing from you in the future. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.